One any daddy you retire could be call set. Nah nigga, daddy you retire on she sports set. Money daddy you retire on she film me. Show my rapper to daddy he murder or beats me. In my lifetime, I learned that there never ever be a right time. So I gotta keep it moving, later on the night time. Mo miss nightlife, yeah, but these days I'm just into me and my wife time. I'll keep it 100, I'm in a good place. I'm multi-wallet school by, but that shit ain't safe. Boko Haram, kidnapper, ESN, OPC, bandits, IPOP, Kilo Degon, Shekosi. Midlife crisis by the setting, I don't even know. Molora Rufi Buti Mo Wani 10 years ago. Mofi suicide door see, Mokoni color taxi. Funny fingers, nigga, I feel good about it.
Vibes.
But you knew that. Slidey Pope. Let's go.
I like the way I'm feeling now. No confusion, regrets, but my blues I'm written now. I like the way I'm feeling now. Oh, you got smart thing with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now.
Way out my feelings and nothing can stress me. The way I run the game, I'm feeling like referee. No, like Moses parting the Red Sea, like a chauffeur, me in the back of the Bentley. So I step out, all white, can't stain. What you want? Rosé, champagne? I got that. Big bag, back pain. Taking the piss, the only time I can't aim. So we toasted a good life, living every minute to the full, cause I could die. Pull up at the spot, open doors, and it's suicide. Chillin' rent free, where the check please? Couple hundred G's on a good night.
I like the way I'm feeling now. No come use your regrets, but my blues and written now. I like the way I'm feeling now. I'm gonna get smart thing with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now. I like the way I'm feeling now. No come use your regrets, but my blues and written now. I like the way I'm feeling now. I'm gonna get smart thing with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now.
Yeah. All I wanna do is jive. 220 on the highway. I'm about the energy. Baby, if it's good, send it my way. If it's bad, keep it private. All these haters so vexed, I'm the best alive. You don't want to test the guy. You been sleeping on yourselves, you test it fly. Throw myself a party, then act surprised. Be the highest in the room when the guests arrive. Yeah, ain't nobody realer. Touchdown, got a couple G's for the dealer. Gang signs out the window, my killer. Life getting sweeter, no use what I dilute my Ribena. So we toast to the good life. Every minute to the full, cause we could die. Pull up open doors and it's suicide. Yeah, 16 bad, whoop, and they all by the poolside.
I like the way I'm feeling now. No come use your regrets, but my blues are written now. I like the way I'm feeling now. I'm gonna get smart thing with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now. I like the way I'm feeling now.
Vibes.
But you knew that. Steady pull. Let's go.
I like the way I'm feeling now. No come use your regrets, but my blues I'm written now. I like the way I'm feeling now. I'm gonna get smart thing with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now.
Way out my feelings and nothing can stress me. The way I run the game, I'm feeling like referee. No, like Moses parting the Red Sea, like a chauffeur, me in the back of the Bentley. So I step out, all white, can't stain. What you want? Rosé, champagne? I got that. Big bag, back pain. Taking the piss, the only time I can't aim. So we toasted a good life, living every minute to the full, cause I could die. Pull up at the spot, open doors, and it's suicide. Chillin' rent free, where the check please? Couple hundred G's on a good night.
I like the way I'm feeling now. No come use your regrets, but my blues I'm written now.
It's a happy Thursday mixed with the first day in the month of July.
I like the way I'm feeling now. No come use your regrets, but my blues I'm written now. I like the way I'm feeling now. I'm gonna get smart thing with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now.
Yeah. All I wanna do is jive.
I'm feeling very good about the new month. And welcome to another edition of Celebrity Corner with Adeyinka Oluwamayowa on Aloore Radio in Ibadan.
Be the highest in the room when the guests arrive. Yeah, ain't nobody realer. Touchdown, got a couple G's for the dealer. Gang signs out the window, my killer. Life getting sweeter, no use what I dilute my Ribena. So we toast to the good life. Every minute to the full, cause we could die. Pull up open doors and it's suicide. Yeah, 16 bad, whoop, and they all by the poolside.
I like the way I'm feeling now. No come use your regrets, but my blues I'm written now. I like the way I'm feeling now. I'm gonna get smart thing with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now. I like the way I'm feeling now. No come use your regrets, but my blues I'm written now. I like the way I'm feeling now. I'm gonna get smart thing with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now.
you are listening to currently is Feelings by Ladipo of Maven Records featuring fast and rising artist Buju. I'll be giving special recognition to the Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde, the Commissioners, Permanent Secretaries, Directors, Mrs. Aboyede Ojo, Olusegun Taiwo, Studio Engineer, and every other stakeholder. Don't forget, you can also listen to us live on AlooreRadio.com. Download Aloore Radio mobile application on Google Play Store. You can as well connect us via Aloore Radio social media platforms on Instagram and Facebook.
I like the way I'm feeling now. No confusion, regrets, but my blues and return now. I like the way I'm feeling now. But you got smart thing with the stress me, but right now I'm chilling now.
Way out my feelings and nothing can stress me. The way I run the game, I'm feeling like referee. No,
You can check out Septi911 and Mr. Septi911 on Instagram, Facebook, and other social media platforms that are available for you to connect with.
Taking the piss, the only time I can't aim. So we toasted a good life, living every minute to the full, cause I could die. Pull up at the spot, open doors, and it's suicide. Chillin' rent free, what the check, please? Couple hundred G's on a good night.
Happy New Month, listeners. And again, this is Celebrity Corner with Adeyinka Oluwamayowa on Aloore Radio. Last week, we had multi-talented dancer and entertainer Tudun Agboola of the Cymbals. And the week before that was Prince Gokebajowa, a gospel musician who also doubles as a trumpeter.
All I wanna do is jive. 220 on the highway. I'm about the energy. Maybe if it's good, send it my way. If it's bad, keep it private. All these haters so vexed, I'm the best alive. You don't want to test the guy. You been sleeping on yourselves, you test it fly. Throw myself a party, then act surprised. Be the highest in the room when the guests arrive. Yeah, ain't nobody realer. Touchdown, got a couple G's for the dealer. Gang signs out the window, my killer. Life getting sweeter, no use water, dilute my ripe bean. So we toast to the good life. Every minute to the full, cause we could die.
Last week, our guest on Celebrity Corner, Tudun of Cymbals Dance Group, who has been dominating Oyo State with his talent for about a decade now, discussed about the roles of dance in human life, how it's been a solid form of entertainment, and how lucrative dance has been for him. And today, the 1st of July 2021, I have with me in the studio an all-round entertainer, that is what I call him, who is a comedian, an actor, event MC, and everything in between that he will be telling us today that he does in the entertainment industry. Kindly introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Babatunde Ojibaro, but popularly called Mr. Rain. Basically, like you rightly said, I'm an entertainer, as it were, and in some space, I'm also a digital marketer, basically. But I act for stage and screen. I'm a comedian, like you said. I am also an event MC. As a thespian, I am the founder of Theatre of Africa.
Okay.
Theatre of Africa is a repertoire theatre production company, and that that focuses on contributing to the revival of theatre culture in Nigeria. And we've been around for a while, been doing plays here and there across the country, basically. And yeah, pretty much, except you ask questions.
So right now you've just listened to Mr. Rain, a digital marketer, theater, and the founder of Theater Hub Africa, a comedian, an event MC, and many other things. Mr. Rain, how did entertainment started for you?
Well, like many people, it started when we were a lot younger, you know.
I'm sure you didn't know when you were very young that you become an entertainer.
Well, somehow I knew. I was either going to be a footballer or an entertainer. You know, because I played football more than I was entertaining. You know.
So, do you still play football right now?
Yeah, I still play football. I still play football actively.
So, which team do you play for?
I play for my team.
Team Jesus.
So pretty much when I was a lot younger, I think my entertainment started with dance. Because I'm also a dancer.
Wow,
well,
I'm hearing that for the first time.
I say a retired dancer. I danced professionally.
So why
in a
did
while.
you cut dancing part?
Well, you just had to pick which genre of entertainment you really wanted to do. You know, I remember when I had my first degree in Aloore University, studying marketing there. I used to dance a lot. That was, it was dance all through almost had a dance group, like the top dance
the way I run the game, I'm feeling like referee. No, like Moses parting the Red Sea, like a chauffeur, me in the back of the Bentley. So I step out, all white, can't stain. What you want? Rosé, champagne? I got that. Big bag, back pain, taking the piss, the only time I can't aim. So we toasted a good life, living every minute to the full, cause I could die. Pull up at the spot, open doors, and it's suicide. Shit it rent free, what the check, please, couple hundred G's on a good night.
Dance, practicals, backends, you know, so I just stopped doing the break dance and contemporary and all that. I just focused on it. Started doing stand-up comedy and MC. That's what I did almost all through the University of Ghana while I was studying theatre arts. So yeah,
The stand-up comedy and MC, how has it been so far?
It's been very fantastic, even though right now I don't feel that one would classify me as a full-time stand-up comedian. At some point also, you know, as you grow, as the world evolves, you begin to think about many things and begin to prioritize. So while we're doing stand-up comedy at the time, we're getting a lot of attention. Getting popular, people knowing us. You know, they weren't paying for it. Again, so when I finished school, I started tending to my own responsibilities myself. I knew that film wasn't going to be film. You know, your face was going to be poster and billboard and you just go and make everybody laugh. So I decided that if I was going to crack joke for anyone, it has to be paid for. If it's not paid for, then I'm not. And obviously, a lot of people are not going to be for it. So I focused more on being basic. Alright, and I also try to calculate for myself in the MC space. I do only corporate events. Because for me, it was about my talent putting through my messages. Alright, so who are those who are going to pay for these services? I mean, the corporate people always people like, as a game, Babakoy both from Babakoy. So you're everywhere, you're not getting anything in your pocket. You know, so I said, okay, if you ever see me hold a microphone and cracking jokes anywhere, you rest assured that it's paid for. You rest assured that it's paid for. So I don't get many of those gigs. But you see, and the corporate events that I do, except for the weddings who are general. But the corporate events, they don't announce it. It's not on the billboard. It's not there. But you're doing your work and you're getting paid. You know, you're not getting popular. It's fine.
But at least you're living fine.
I'm fine. I get jobs every now and then.
So how long have you been in the game, specifically?
For as long as I started doing stand-up comedy from OU.
How many years ago?
I was in OU between 2003 and 2006, 2002 and 2006. Alright? But the stand-up comedy didn't start until about 2004, thereabout, when somebody wanted to do a birthday party in our fellowship at that time. And they didn't have an MC. And there's this boy who is naughty, stubborn, and funny. You understand? Today, the bar come and do it for us now. You know, so I just stepped up to it. And that's how I started doing the MC stuff. You know, and then it began to evolve. So, but yeah, and when I got into UI2, I got into it as a stand-up comedian. From student days,
I'm a feeling enough to stress me. The way I run the game, I'm feeling like ref. No, like Moses part of the Red Sea, like a chauffeur, me in the back of the Bentley. So I step out, all white, can't stain. What you want? Rosé, champagne? I got that. Big bag, back pain. Taking the piss, the only time I can't aim. So we toasted a good life. Living every minute to the full, I could die. Pull up at the spot, open doors and so she done read for me. What the check is, couple hundred G's on a good night.
Try that if you disappear, you need to do a couple of more research to find yourself. You know, do all these things. You know, you just, if you are switching from a genre to another, you have to know where you're going. You have to find and substance sports. Alright, so I was off the market.
It was like you went back to the drawing board.
Yes, I was back.
Brand yourself.
Yes, I was back myself. Going into the corporate world, it's not the same way you see the corporate guys. So how do corporate people do? How do they behave? You know, how do you talk? How do corporate break? All of those things are doing for a year.
So during the course of the research, what would you say distinct corporate MC from regular entertainment?
It's about perception of branding. And you have to be extremely intelligent. Alright, because today you are MCing for an hour and tomorrow you are MCing for
Touchdown, got a couple G's for the dealer. Gang signs out the window, my killer. Life getting sweet, I know you
brand and all that. So aside the branding, you have to be extremely intelligent. You have to do, because all of these different brands also have their dictionaries and vocabularies. Like the general MC that you can just say anything and all that. You have to be very time conscious. You have to dress well. You have to smell nice. You have to package yourself properly. You have to understand their language. You know, so take it for work. So somebody gives me a brief. We're having this launching for this brand particularly. You have to go back. I mean, it's not something you call you today and tomorrow you're there jumping. You need to know that there is some people are elite. You know, so it's funny and it knows stuff. It's a bit dicey here and there, but that's what I would like. I thought that it's good for me, you know, basically. And so it's been quite nice. It makes me relax a little more, because I may not get all the jobs all the time, but when I get one job, it's okay to cover for the days I don't get a job. So I'm back preparing for the next job. I'm reading, I'm researching, I'm finding the jokes in. Not necessarily have to speak pidgin before I crack jokes. You know how if in a lot of times, most of those corporate events don't even have time for you to be cracking jokes. Yes. But you have to be a lot humorous, even while being serious. It can be funny. You know, so there's no one day, one market. You know, so as you're flowing, you are trying to be humorous at the same time. All right. So maybe I may not use the word funny. Mm-hmm. You have to be humorous.
Yes.
All right. Your sense of humor has to be top notch. And there's a lot of work developing your sense of humor per time, because things change, everything changes, everything is fast, everything is moving. So for me, I think that it was a good decision for me, and there are very few of us on that lane. So it makes the competition a bit lesser, and it makes the money flow more, basically.
So now, you as a corporate comedian, let me put it that way, and a corporate MC, coming from from an industry that is filled with general comedians, what would you say stands you out? I know there are other corporate comedians and corporate MCs. So what stands you out from other corporate comedians and MCs?
And just say that I'm not saying
That's
that.
vibe like that.
Yeah.
That's,
I'm not saying.
No, for you to be confident of saying yes, I am independent.
Yeah.
You've definitely gotten to a stage whereby you've been certified as no, this guy.
Yes, I think it's, and it's not arrogance.
No, I don't say that.
That's you. People are listening. It's not arrogance. Yeah. Because it took a a long time to be able to get to this stage. So I'm shout out to every other person who, the general guys, everybody's intelligent and brilliant. But I know that my kind of intelligence is special. You know. So if there's any other thing that wants to stand me out, it's just my intelligence, basically.
You're beginning to sound like Bono.
Well, it works for him.
So now, we have a lot of comedians in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And in recent time, compared to the 2013 backwards,
Yeah.
comedy has been a source of revenue for many Nigerians. Would you say, in general, that most of these comedians, I'm not saying corporate comedians now, I'm generalizing, would you say they are intelligent?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot to make people laugh. It takes a whole lot to make people laugh. Yeah, and you would not categorize everyone as being intelligent, because that's some people who are feeding on KPRs. There are a lot of them around. They're not prioritizing your content. They're prioritizing your mannerism, your character. They're prioritizing your lane.
So when you say they are intelligent,
No, that's not being intelligent. That's eating off somebody else's intelligence.
because now let me give you an example. You are still on this intelligence. I need it to be very clear. Because coming from an insider, it speaks a lot. Now we have some comedians. They mimic Nigerian parents. Some mimic Nigerian doctors. Some mimic Nigerian bus drivers. Some brand themselves as, oh, I'm a big man and I have the money to throw away for ladies of younger generation. Would you say there is an iota of intelligence in what they do, or they just find it easy to key into that position and they sell it from that angle?
All right, okay. So this is how I should break it down. All right, you can be talented. All right, so there are a lot of talents. I mean, people are naturally funny. All right, but it takes some level of intelligence to be able to channel your talent to be distinct, to be different. All right. For instance, it doesn't is bereft of any form of intelligence at all to be at an event, maybe like a dinner event. Right, and because you're funny and you're trying to, make some jokes and you're making some lewd jokes, perhaps about toilets and all of those things, it doesn't correspond. So you're talented, you're funny, you can make people laugh, you can create content. So do you understand audience psychology? Do you understand audience analysis? That's where intelligence comes in. That's when you know when to say some things and when not to say some things. You know, for instance, we're in a generation where we're talking about saying no to domestic violence and end rape and all of this, and you are doing a content that promotes rape. It may be funny, but there's no form of intelligence in that. Do you understand? So you can be funny and not be able to channel your talent into making something. So there are a lot of funny skits. There are a lot of funny comedians. Like, I don't like what you do.
But when you analyze the comedy, you find out there is no iota of intelligence in it. They are just as lame as. Now, fine. We've been in the studio talking to Mr. Rain, and it's been an insightful and an enjoyable discussion personally for me, and I know listeners at home are also enjoying this conversation as we go. But right now we have to visit our powerhouse for at least one musical break before we return to continue our discussion. I have a lot of questions for Mr. Rain, and I'm sure he'll be trashing all of them one after the other. But now, let's go on this musical break.
Original Mr. Flavor. Bena baby, see as you fine, oh. Bena baby, see as you fresh, yo. Now only monkey go say you no fine, Bena. Fire baby, buru biale. Krikata mama, dance for mommy and dada. Don't be shy to show brother. What in your waist you can cause you. What krikata mama, if I'm bubu mama. Onyeza tano walugure, watala bishie. Biale, biale, wanke womo. Oya shake you mama, oya rock mama, oya walk mama, wanke womo.
Mtoto kaulilia ameutaka emwachata simulia ukimkata kushoto kulia kushoto kulia shika vio kushoto kulia.
That was a Pan-African collaboration from Flavor, one of the most respected high-life Nigerian musician, and Fally Ipupa from Cote d'Ivoire, as well as Diamond Platnumz of Tanzania. And we still have in the studio Mr. Rain, and we've been discussing about comedy, stand-up, as we've been discussing about comedy, him as a corporate event anchor and a corporate comedian, as well as a theater organization founder. So your theater group, what gave birth to it, and what are you really known for in the industry?
Alright, for theater, like I rightly mentioned earlier, I studied theater arts in the University of Ibadan, and I graduated as a directing student. Alright, so while we were in school, there are a lot of my senior colleagues whom after theater went into banking, went into the advertising industry, and several other industries. And no one is throwing blame for them as the case may be, but simply because there wasn't anything to look forward to after theater arts. Because even largely as a theater arts student, then were considered as unserious people. So nobody was going to take you serious after school. There was nothing, and I was studying theater. So I'm like, okay, so when I finish school, what am I going to do? Am I also going into the advertising industry? Am I going into banking? I mean, I should have gone to study mass communication of banking and finance.
Like me.
Yeah, and then I was also looking at the junior guys when they leave school. What's going on with all of us? Though there were about a few theater production companies out there, but there weren't much. All right, and there weren't a lot of producers willing to drop money to just teach play, basically. So I decided in my 300 level or thereabout that I was going to float a theatre production company for myself to look forward to something, and for those who are coming behind us to be able to say, okay, there is something, somewhere we are going to practice, or somewhere we are going to get a job, somewhere we are going to be professionally, as against nothing. You get so, and that's what informed it. Setting up my theatre production company. So when I finished school, I worked a little bit as theatre production manager with some outfits in Lagos just to learn the ropes, not just jumping from school to create something. So know how it works here and there. So I worked with Professor Bodesho one day, I worked with Shola Denuba, I worked in director with Bodesho in Kavea, Uncle Wale Okutokun, and I was in Lagos at that time. That's this time around, I'm talking about 2013. I was in Lagos at that time, and there were about 5 production companies that I knew. And with the energy that was flying around the air with those producers and directors at that time, in my head I was, forecasting that 5 years down the line, theatre may be coming back to take a huge chunk of the thing. So I thought it was time for me. So I left Lagos and came back to Ibadan.
So why did you choose Ibadan?
Ibadan, because by the time I was living in Ibadan, I was already getting a hang of the city. When I was in school, I was getting a hang of the city already. I was also working on radio at that time. I got an opportunity to work on radio, so I thought, okay, let's come and do it in Ibadan. And I didn't really want to be competing with all of those big brands in Lagos, who you just be swimming in the large ocean. So I thought, okay, Ibadan is where I studied. Ibadan is where theatre started, entertainment started for Southwest. History-wise, I thought it may just be a good place to kick it off. So in 2016, we had our first production. 2016, yeah, 2nd of May, we had our first production. Mantoku, Aloore team is Mantoku. And from then, it's been no going back. We've had a campus tour, we've had series of productions since then to now, about 12 or thereabout, between Lagos and Ibadan. Presently, we're working on a Southwest tour of my latest production, Aloore the musical.
So give us a brief of Aloore the musical. What's it about, and what should we expect about Aloore the musical?
Yeah, Aloore the musical is Aloore, as it were, for a lot of people who are into folk tales and folklore. I also happen to have enjoyed storytelling from my grandparents. Alright, my grandfather especially. God bless his memory. And we told these stories and all that. So Aloore was one of those stories that were told to us. It's a myth, and and all that. So when I was going to do Aloore the musical, I was looking for something that people could connect with, something that could portray our cultural heritage as Yoruba people, something that could introduce the younger generation to the values that we hold so dear, so esteemed to our hearts. And for some reason, I don't know where Aloore came from. For some reason, Aloore just stopped in my head.
And you went with it.
And for some reason, I can't remember. I tried to remember where did this concept of Aloore come from. I knew I was looking for something very rich, culturally rich.
Yes, it's solidly African.
Yeah, so that's it. So Aloore came. So I decided to do research on it, and I found out that there were a lot of versions about Aloore. Exactly. They're different. In fact, there are Aloore stories in French and in other languages. So okay, so everybody has a different version of Aloore. So I read as much as I could, and I decided to create my own version of Aloore.
So how is yours different from other versions?
It's not really different. It's not really different. It has the same theme. It has the same storyline, but except that I have just been able to find a way to sync it with the contemporary world.
Okay.
All right, so that there's a bridge between the younger generations and the older generations. The older generations can watch it or hear it, and this nostalgic way, oh, these things, and then these younger ones can say, okay, so this is what this culture is about and all that. So it's an infusion of the contemporary literary genres, spoken word poetry, dance, music, then the drama and storytelling. Is a sync of both. All right, and I think that's what distincts it from, because I've seen Aloore the musical performed in Lagos from my very senior colleagues. I mean, amongst 3 other people. The same storyline, but different approach different characterization and all of those things. But I think this is a lot different because of the new genre that we have infused in it, so that it's balanced. The guy who has never been told a story about tortoise and a jaguar before can appreciate it, and the older ones can say, "Oh, this is good. It reminds us of when we're young and all the cultural values." But ultimately, it promotes our culture, and that's something that I was really very fantastic about. So we said it, okay, a Southwest tour. That's like a giant step. That's like fate. It's not like something I wanted to do. I just said, this thing is so beautiful. A lot of people have to see it. We have to take it around. So we had Ibadan. We started with Ibadan a few months ago. So we had an amazing time. And now we're going to Lagos. This month, we'll be in Lagos on the 17th and 18th of July this month. All right. We're working on about 4 states in Southwest. And it's beautiful, it's been good, and we have been able to even attract some sponsors that are really interested in it. Seeing the Ibadan show, oh, this is beautiful, this is what we should be talking about, our story, our identity, So a couple of sponsors are on it, notably Farm Connect is on it, and many others.
So, Mr. Rain, maybe on another edition we have to come back to Aloore proper.
Yeah.
It is deep down our culture, and it is solidly African, like I earlier mentioned, because I've particularly seen Aloore in different languages that are not basically Yoruba or English or anything. I've seen them in other languages. So we'll come back to that. I would like you to address this mindset. You as a digital marketer, before we go, the time I've fast spent. You as a digital marketer, you carry laptop around.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you are being harassed by those who are not grounded online as you being an online fraudster? Have you ever been harassed or so?
Well, I haven't been harassed at any point.
What can you say about the conception, or should I say misconception, that everybody that carries about laptop and doesn't have an office, who he or she goes to sit down?
It's a huge conception, misconception. I think that mindset has to be worked on, basically. But sadly, it's just also where we have found ourselves as a people. It's looking like online fraud is a last resort for a lot of people. The young ones are particularly concerned about money. All right, but again, it's not also fair on them because there's no job, there's no this, there's no that, there's no that, and they're thinking, and all of this. So, and we must also understand that we're in this generation, this 21st century generation, fast generation, information, digital age. All of those things aid digital. So, seeing a laptop with someone and automatically thinking that that person is a fraud, because everything that we do now is digital. Everything this is digital that we're talking about here. We are a digital platform.
Absolutely.
All right. So I think that on the is an overhaul of mindset, paradigm shift that should be on the places of the authorities, the parents. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. But I think it's a shift for a country as Nigeria to think to have majorly people think that anybody with any digital gadgets or device is an online fraud. Is a fraudster, as it were. It's a shame that we are, but I think we are getting past it little by little.
Yeah, Mr. Rain, thanks for coming. It's been an insightful discussion with you. I know listeners must have learned one or two things, just as I have in the studio. And this is right time, and this time right now is where we'll put a stop to Celebrity Corner for today. Thank you for joining us on Celebrity Corner, Mr. Rain. I repeat, it's really been a wonderful talk and a wonderful chat with you.
Thank you for
and
having
I'll
me.
be here on Aloore Radio same time next week with another important personality in the entertainment industry. And before I take my leave, I would like to give special gratitude to Almighty God for making this edition a beautiful one, and the Governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde, the commissioners, the permanent secretaries, the directors, Mrs. Aboyede Ojo, Olusegun Taiwo, the studio engineer, Akuko Aloore, and every other stakeholders that have supported this program and made this program listenable and hearable for everyone out there. And to the listeners, I say thank you. And before I sign off, I have a song that I would like everyone to listen to right now. And the title of the song is, well, Nigerian music industry, we have a lot of songs that has flooded the streets and a lot of songs that has been in the industry. And this was recently released by Rexy, who happened to drop his debut album last year. It is titled Kokboke Remix, featuring South African musician Shodi Mogidi.
KPK Kokboke, OPG Opokon, Rexy Nation Majos, Mobese Opokon.